Hey buddies, Some Nuts Guy here. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. In this video, we're going to be talking all about the different types of food in the game. What food you might want to be using early game, mid game, late game, for the bosses, for long distant journeys like running, or long farming trips where you're going to be mining and using lots of stamina but not getting into many fights. So we're going to talk about all of these different aspects right now. We'll try and keep it as quick and concise as we can for you. Now, essentially, there's a few stats that you want to be paying attention to when you're looking at your food. You are going to want to pay attention to the health that it provides, the stamina that it provides, the duration that it lasts, and the healing that it offers per tick. Now this one I pay attention to a little bit less. Duration doesn't matter so much because if it's a shorter duration, you're just going to consume more, obviously. So the main things that we're looking at, of course, are the health and the stamina that it provides. Now, early game, very, very early on, your diet's pretty much going to be mushrooms. Mushrooms, maybe fruit. I'd advise avoiding eating the blueberries and raspberries because they can be used more effectively later. So my early diet, if possible, would be mushroom, yellow, and honey. Honey has a short duration. It's only 300 seconds compared to 600 seconds of, say, the mushrooms. But the honey actually has a 5 HP per tick healing versus the 1 of the mushrooms. So the honey is going to actually heal you fairly quick comparatively, and it gives you the same health and stamina. So my ideal early game foods would probably be mushroom, honey, unless I was wanting to dip into my meat. Now, obviously, if I have meat, fantastic. I can go mushroom, meat. I can go mushroom, honey meat, whatever the case may be. Early game, the best combo you can get would probably be honey, meat, or mushroom, yellow mushroom, meat. So the grilled necktail and the cooked meat are going to be your two best foods early game. So when you're going to do your first and perhaps second boss, you're going to want to load up on these foods. Now the jam is okay to make. It costs 8 raspberries, 8 blueberries. It's got a 1200 second duration, so that's a long duration. It's got decent health and stamina, but raspberries and blueberries can be used in other things later, and I myself found myself running out of raspberries and blueberries when I wanted to create things like health potions, as an example. So I would maybe avoid eating raspberries and blueberries unless you really have to, and I'd make them into a queen's jam to get the most value out of them. So these are our early game foods that we'd sort of prioritize and focus on. And one thing which is quite interesting is the Serpent Stew. The Serpent Stew is one of the best foods in the game, but it's also one of the foods that has the lowest barrier to gaining. As long as you can kill a serpent, which I've created a video on how to do, I'll put it in the top right corner for you in case you need to learn how to do that. But as long as you can kill a serpent, maybe you're very good at it doing it solo, maybe you got a couple of buddies, I would recommend going and killing a few serpents and making yourself some serpent stew. This can be gained quite early on, as soon as just after getting bronze, because you'll need a cauldron to make it in. And it only requires a mushroom, 2 honey, and then your cooked serpent meat. So it's very accessible, very strong, gives you 80 health and 80 stamina. It's one of the best foods in the game, but you can actually get it immediately after bronze. The next best foods that you're probably going to use immediately after the Bronze Age are carrot soup and sausages. Sausages are probably something you're going to use a lot of because it takes only 1 meat, a couple of entrails and a couple of thistles, and it makes 4 sausages, whereas a lot of things, Queen's Jam is right there, so you can ignore that, but a lot of things when you're crafting food only make 1 at a time. So the sausages are really nice in that respect. You can get a lot of sausages quite quick and easy. Carrot soup is fantastic. It has a really high stamina value. So if you're going to go on a long distance journey, or you're going to do lots of mining or farming, whatever the case may be, the carrot soup is really, really good because it has a 60 stamina value. The sausages are brilliant for boss fights because it gives you a 60 health value. So these are both very good foods that you're going to be using quite early on after the Bronze Age. Carrot soup can be made immediately. You can actually make this immediately after you get bronze because you'll have picked up carrot seeds in the Black Forest. And then you can start to make your sausages and your turnip stew. immediately after you've gone to the swamp for the first time, because the sausages require thistles, the turnips require turnips. You don't get turnip seeds until you go to the swamp. So sausages and turnip stew are probably going to be the core of your foods after the swamp for some time, you know, until you get past the swamp, past the mountains, and into the plains. These are going to be your core foods, where I would still have some serpent stew in reserve for when you're doing bosses. And I would definitely have serpent stew at all times as soon as you can get it. Keep it for bosses because it's one of the best foods in the game. So these are going to be what you're going to be eating after the swamp or during the swamp stages. Now, once you can get yourself to the plains, or even if you see some locks and you can just sort of, you know, you can kill some locks, maybe you can cheese them. They have a buttload of health, but if you get in a certain position, you can cheese them. They drop upwards of 4 meat each, so quite a bit of meat per kill, and it lasts 2,000 seconds, so a very long duration. It gives you 70 health and 40 stamina. Lox meat, cooked lox meat is a very, very good late mid-tier food currently. And then the best foods in the game are going to be your blood pudding with 90 health and 50 stamina, your fish wraps with 60 health and 90 stamina, and your lox meat pie with 80 of each, but of course referring back to the serpent stew, which also has 80 of each. All 3 of these things require barley and require you to have defeated Moder to have access to the thing that you need to process the barley into flour. And you'll need to have gone to the plains, cleared some goblin villages. The only way to get barley is through clearing goblin villages. Then you plant it in your own base. Bear in mind, barley can only be planted in a plains biome. And then you can start to produce barley flour, and all 3 of these will require barley flour. So these are pretty much your end game foods. These are your end game foods, including the serpent stew. Trying to think if there's anything I've missed here. If you guys have any questions regarding food, please leave them in the comments below. I'll go and answer those for you if you do have any questions. If you'd like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. I stream on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SomeNutsGuy, 5 days a week currently. We'll go back to 7 days a week at some point in the future. 5 days a week currently. I take 2 days off to work on these YouTube videos. So I'm streaming every day but Monday and Friday. We usually go live at 1 o'clock UK time. It would be great to see some of you guys there. Regardless, I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care.